Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful 2017. Today we're talking about Crunchyroll and their so-called Anime Awards of 2016. I'm referring to it as the so-called Anime Awards because it doesn't feel very professional or like it really means anything despite it being hosted by a huge company like Crunchyroll. Why is this, you may be wondering? Well, for one, they're not really promoting it at all other than on Twitter sometimes and on a small box on their front page, so not many people are seeing it. I don't know the exact number of people who've seen it, but only 17,000 people have from the crunchyroll.com and probably only a few more thousand from Twitter. I'm no expert, but that doesn't seem like enough to accurately represent the opinions of what the best anime of 2016 were. Oh yeah, and speaking of misrepresentation, the nominees were picked by a panel of 7 judges, 6 out of 7 of which I've never heard of in my life, and after some research, most of them don't seem very qualified to be a judge for such an important event, and seem very biased towards certain anime. Don't even get me started on the nominations. I think the categories are all pretty good. Actually, I couldn't have chosen any better other than maybe including some for the worst anime of the year. But when you look at what's been nominated for the categories, it almost seems like the judges were kind of showing some bias. I completely understand having preference towards specific anime, but when Erased is nominated for 7 out of 14 awards, and a few other anime are nominated just as much, maybe a little less, it doesn't feel like the judges watched every anime the year had to offer, which is really unfair for some hidden gems. I'm not saying popular anime aren't allowed, but I'd like to see some variation. Also, why isn't Onoragori nominated for the Anime of the Year, Best Boy, Best Hero, and Most Heartwarming?
やめておきなさい。誰だ
Anyways, I'm pretty upset about the fact that the same few anime were nominated for everything, and that most of my favorite anime weren't nominated for anything, so I'm going to complain about the 2 anime that I think got nominated for way more than they deserved, starting with Erased. I'm not going to be like Digibro and say that Erased was horrible and that it didn't deserve any attention. I manned up and watched it this week, and I thought it was pretty okay. Nothing spectacular, but still not terrible. I definitely wouldn't rewatch any of it other than the scene where Miss Hot Mama gets stabbed in the back, then somehow the knife is in her stomach with no obvious reason why. I think for a mystery anime, the killer is way too obvious. I mean, me and my friends watching it figured it out 10 minutes into episode 2 for Christ's sake, and we could have figured it out instantly if we had watched the OP, which we didn't. If not for the hot moms, we could have finished it right there and been done with the show. Despite that, I still had a pretty good time with my friends trying to guess who might be in on it and what's going to happen next. Overall, it wasn't anything special, and unless you're re-watching with friends like I was, I really wouldn't recommend Erased to anybody who's trying to find a good mystery. Next up is Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, and I'm going to be honest, I really did not like Kabaneri. I watched it expecting constant badass moments in every episode, backed with intense animation to come together and be a fucking blast to watch, and the animation and fight choreography was phenomenal. It 100% deserves to be nominated for Best Animation. However, there weren't many badass moments, or at least they didn't feel important. I really love a show that's not meant to have me attached to any story and it's just meant to be fucking cool. That's why something like Drifters is in my top 5 for fall 2016. The story is more of a backdrop for the fucking badass shit going on. However, the difference between Drifters and Kabaneri in that regard is that Kabaneri's story requires you to be attached to it. If I don't care about what's going on with the characters, then every badass scene where they're fighting for their life feels worthless, and the chills I get when watching something fucking cool don't really happen. And they didn't with Kabaneri. Definitely a disappointment. If you were planning to watch this, just watch Attack on Titan. Everything else that got a shit ton of nominations I either think was actually good enough to deserve those nominations, like Mob Psycho, and even though I wish some of my favorite animes also got these nominations, I do think Mob Psycho actually deserves it, and Yuri on Ice. Or I really don't want to talk about it because I've already made a video on the anime, like Boku no Hero Academia. or I haven't watched it yet and am planning to with my last 2 days of winter break, which is the case for Joker Game and Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. Sorry if I butchered that. I 100% plan to cover every anime nominated for Anime of the Year in the future, but while I'm slowly writing full reviews for all of them, I hope videos like this and my Chromexia and the 8 Seals is Bad video are enough to keep everybody entertained. It's New Year's right now, so my New Year's resolution is to release at least one video per week. So yeah, thank you for watching, and
Bye bye.